Welcome back to Rift Rivals 2017. Don't worry, we didn't neuralize you. It was, in fact, an OMG win in that last matchup. But we're moving on to our next one right now, which will be Samsung. Once again, we get to see them for the second time today versus OMG. Some more LPL, LCK rivalry. And this one, I feel like there'll be some more clean play, I have to feel, just moving into this.
I would hope so.
Are you sure about that?
Too. Yeah, a lot of hoping going on. But EDG, not only in the top 4, but have been able to achieve a lot with this new roster. You know, kind of a hybrid of the new players and also the old guard coming in with clear love.
And the big questions are, where is the ceiling for this iteration of EDG? Is it back to 2015 MSI? Not necessarily in my opinion. I think the individual performers, the difference between someone like Deft and someone like Zet, someone like Koro, someone like Mouse, it just has a lower skill cap, but they're certainly starting to build back up to it.
Yeah, certainly when it comes down to you've mentioned Deft, where they are certainly getting better. Their team play is it's gotten to a point where they can have domestic dominance once again, but how does it actually play out in an international setting? Well, we'll definitely find out with Samsung. And I think that knowing that Samsung had a tough time versus J-Team, it's telling that it could be a competitive one.
And while they don't have a Deft anymore, right? Zet is certainly a great role player. He's growing into his role in EDG, who frequently were the Deft-focused or AD carry-focused. That was their comfort. What you can say is that Mako, the other side of the Deft equation, is right in the middle of his meta. His most played of all time is Braum and Thresh. And guess what? Braum and Thresh are highly contested picks. So whether you're banning 2 support champions, which will warp a draft one way or the other, or he's just getting his playmaking done, I feel like Zet can just play very standard, play the Ashe, maybe play Jhin in the future as a previous pick for him, and just play his initiation role. And then I think I trust Mako and now Clearlove back in the lineup to do their duo and actually get a lot of vision and hence allow this to be what could be a very long series. It could be a very standard series, but I think EDG and Samsung match up pretty equivalently to each other.
Yeah, Frost and Russ.
Yeah, and Clearlove has said it in interviews himself. He feels like the meta actually really empowers EDG because it unlocks Mako and allows him to roam around. So this is definitely EDG's comfort zone for where they're strongest.
And that's why we'll have to figure out first of all, what's Mako playing? Or if he's going towards the lane kingdom, because Zet and Mako have been able to just smash bottom lanes pretty convincingly. So we'll maybe even see a Caitlyn coming in if he doesn't get the utility picks for Zet. Then, of course, they can look towards trying to get that tower down before 9-minute mark, which has just been an incredible statement to make, right? And then I guess the real question is once Zet gets into the mid game, how is his team fighting? Can he actually position properly, which has been a question to him.
And you're kind of dancing around, EDG's playstyle, and yes, it is still very much around that bottom side, but it's about isolating your 2v2, your 1v1s, and then opening up space for Clearlove to contest the enemy jungler, which he's looking across from Ambition this time around.
And we can't look past the fact that Ruler and Core JJ are a fantastic laning duo, and just having Mako roam requires there to be a lane advantage or a turret going down or significant outplay, because 2v2, I think Zet and Mako, because Zet will be outclassed by Ruler and Core JJ is a deft hand in his own, I think it will actually be very difficult for them to just straight 2v2 style that would really open the matchup for EDG. So I think the bot lane should have a lot of focus because unlocking Mako, like you say, is a key strategy for EDG.
We also can't ignore the power on the top side, though, because when we do talk about the old guard, it is the duo. It is Mouse and it is Clearlove. And Clearlove, yes, he's come back in very recently, kind of popped his head in spring, but is now fully come back. Mouse and Clearlove had led them to many good victories.
That's true, and I think this is the first time we're going to actually get a good look of Mouse and how he plays against tough competition in Cuvée and in Ambition. So that's going to be a great 2v2. More so than not now, Mouse is starting to get a little bit of pressure coming in from Clearlove, so it's not solely focused. So we'll have to see if Mouse gets that love, and how does he rank up going up against Cuvée.
And I want the international stage to give Mouse another chance. I know his performance at Worlds was shocking. He got exposed by pretty much every team that they faced. He was definitely a liability there. But this split in the LPL, he has been a domestic, I'm not going to say god, but definitely one of the top 3 top laners in his region. He's playing much better. He's opened up, diversified his champion pool, and I think now is his time for redemption particularly.
And it's not even like, to put caveats on that, the top lane pool is a bad pool whatsoever. It was one of the strongest back in spring. Maybe there's a couple of question marks now coming into summer, but still, Mouse was still a top laner. And when you have the likes of a Duke running around the top lane, it does say something towards him.
But I do want to quickly cover the differences. He's not a carry top laner. He can play those carry champions, but he's a role player. But he is the best at creating space and engineering 5v5s and making nice zones for Scout and for Zet to go off.
And I feel like Cuvée, honestly, you could say very much the same about him. Neither of them are going to be playing true carries like Riven, for example, or the ultra carry school, neither of them will do that. Both of them, I think, do rely on intelligent teleport play. So it could be the duos. You imagine you have to throw in the jungler around that role. My query, I feel like for Samsung to win, I'd want to come in heavily favoring Samsung. But I think really Crown is the one who needs to step up in performance. Scout has been pretty consistent, throughout his career. I think he's been good this season. The champion pools overlap quite a lot between Crown and Scout. I feel like Talia will be a hugely contested pick once again in this scenario. But if Samsung just give up Corki again to the side of Scout, I'm not confident that Crown can really show a different level to what he showed in the first series, and if they just play Corki and get pushed in, that will allow there to be support roams and other things that will really ruin the day of Samsung.
And frankly, this is Scout's tournament to solidify his career as well. He was the star mid laner for EDG when they went into Worlds, but then kind of like midway through it, they decided they wanted the veteran strength of Pawn there. So they started him on the international stage when Scout had played 99% of the split. This time around, there's no one starting behind him. He's their primary mid laner, and he finally gets to show the international audience that he can lead this team.
Yeah, finally stepping out of the shadows, Raz.
And he's been a real consistent force, even in EDG's lows, when they've had Fire Lolly in the jungle, and they've really had really tough mid-game points. It's been Scout who's been their major win condition. If he can get a major lead in the mid lane, then they have a good shot at the game. This time around, he's remained consistent, and I want to see how he can actually open the floodgates, move onto the side lane. So you mentioned Talia. I want to see him get something that he can roam outwards. I think Corki can also do the trick.
I think it starts in picks and bans as well. What I'd like to see is actually copy what we saw in our first series. Ban the Zyra, ban the laning supports against Core JJ, have them both opt in to, say, Thresh versus Tahm Kench, and then you get the priority mid lane, you get the Corki, for example, you start pushing. When it is two melee supports, you're freer to start roaming with your support, rush the Moby boots like Alistair, Thresh are well known for. Like you say, get some globals, get Talia. Galio will be the gold standard, but probably be banned. I think if they can drag the game into two roaming supports, that takes away from Core JJ's laning strengths, and Ruler also is a laning-focused AD carry, and that might be the way to unlock victory for the side of EDG.
I will actually ask the question right here that where is this weighted? Because this is the first time in the tournament I actually have to say that it's actually difficult to call one way or the other.
I mean, frankly, outside our last game, which I believe is Flash Wolves SKT today, this is kind of like the headliner. I feel like we got two kind of appetizers and warm-ups, but this should be a very close, and the potential to have the highest level of play, although the first glimpse that we got at Samsung, I'm a little bit hesitant.
And the last 2 weeks, if you delete the last 2 weeks where they lost to Jin Air, where they have some losses recently, absolutely, I would say Samsung 70%. I'm really confident they're a very strong team. Juve was a new dimension to the team that wasn't there in spring. That was the last piece of the puzzle. But after the first game, I feel like I have this recency bias issue. I've been hurt by them recently, and their performance has been wavering. So I actually do. If you ask me right now, I'm 50-50. I'm actually not sure which way it'll go. I want to say Samsung Galaxy, but I just can't.
Yeah. I think that the bottom lane coming in from EDG really is convincing me that their pressure consistently coming through. I know that they're going up against Core JJ and Ruler, and that can be a tough matchup. But if there's pressure coming in from Scout, and I'm still adding on the map, so it's not really a 2v2 at that point, that's going to come towards EDG's primary focus once they get that position.
I'm going to have to...
Oh,
okay.
here we go. Are you the flip? Okay.
I will back EDG because I'm biased and they're my boys. But in all honesty, I think that this is so dependent on matchups in particular because the teams are so closely weighted. And unfortunately, EDG's biggest glaring weakness to me throughout all of their splits has been their draft phase. They constantly fumble drafts. They give away priority picks. They're not very good at kind of expanding their own champion pools. Clearlove comes to mind. He's been around for like, what, 6 years now, and he still can't play.
7.
Exactly. Can't play everything to the highest of its ability. Yeah, he's fairly meta resistant, but I have a feeling that draft is going to get fumbled and they're going to give it away to Samsung from minute 0.
We're going to have to see what they prioritize. I remember when we saw Clearlove coming out with the Nidalee, and even though that's a major win for them and he was a good proponent for that, he had the strong invades, he just didn't have the mechanics down. And so we're going to have to see what they prioritize. Do they ban the Zac? I mean, we've seen Zac banned. You don't want to give it away, especially in a best of 1 scenario. But it is a good step forward to see if they prioritize their bottom lane, if their draft does improve.
Sure. Papa then Frost.
It is the if-whens kind of series, right? We're very much waiting for draft. This is ultra. I wish we could have this segment after the draft because we'll learn a lot. But even when we come to Worlds, this is the sort of series you kind of live for. It's so great that we're getting it mid-season because Samsung are on a down. EDG are, with Clearlove, establishing a roster. And it's the sort of game you get hyped about because I think it informs both the league expectations, but also these specific team expectations. And yet, if we see it at Worlds 3, 4, 5 patches later, it could be completely different. So this is a really fascinating game. And like you say, it does feel like it's a bit of a draw card next to the final game of today.
And for EDG fans, I just want to put a couple of flags on things that check, the bingo check mark to say, okay, we have a chance in this game. You need a strong winning lanes, particularly in the bottom lane. You need Scout on a roaming champion, something like Corki, Talia, or Galio. And you need Mouse that's going to play something with strong 5v5 teleporting potential. And make sure that Clearlove gets a fast farming 1v1 dueling jungler. If you get all of those, I'm totally fine to back EDG here.
And I'm the same here. If Samsung get winning lanes for Oscuran, I think they'll win also.
That's why I'm going to step in and say that Mouse he's really good at taking pressure. So if he gets like a blind pick, Jarvan into a Renekton.
Resident flip-flopper Raz, was that a EDG prediction? All right, there we have it in this best of one. Samsung up against EDG. As we were saying on the analysis, pretty much the second headliner match today as we jump into picks and bans here. Waiting on the first ban to come out from Samsung.
I'll have to wait and see if we get notified of that.
Suspense.
It went to 0 seconds, so maybe we'll get a remake. Somehow I don't think they skipped a ban, but we don't have any clear information about that. Worth noting that Samsung are starting on blue side. That might have some relevance here. What they reach for at first pick, I think, could be an interesting question.
Mouse definitely just turned around and was like, can I just ban? It was like, all right, yeah, sure. So he would go ahead and ban Caitlyn away from Samsung. We're now waiting down the clock once again.
So we're looking at the comp from Samsung, who played in Game 1 of the night. We see them almost back-to-back here, Game 1, Game 3. Rumble, Rek'Sai, Orianna, Varus, and Tahm Kench. I think the Rek'Sai to me was one of the big parts there. I think seeing Ambition on Rek'Sai he's now 3-0 for the season. I feel like he didn't necessarily have a proactive early game, and yet he has the potential to be unlocked on a pick like that. So with so many jungle bans, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to there being Rek'Sai first pick.
Yeah, because there's the Zac and also the Elise. And the first ban was also just a misban, so there will be no remake on that one. So Samsung actually just heading into the first phase with only 2 bans.
And I wish we could know more. I wish we could know if it was strategic, because things like missed bans have never really been used strategically. It felt like there were other errors and issues that made these things happen. So we're already at the picking state. So Rek'Sai is available as one of the strong meta picks. In this particular case, it'd be a pretty big reach for Ambition to first pick a Rek'Sai, but it's very possible.
I mean, a lot of jungle has been taken away, Papa, and at the same time, Galio and Xayah with the final bans, it will in fact be a first pick Rek'Sai.
So one of my first thought, Rek'Sai first pick is fine. Now we jump over to the side of LPL and the side of EDG. Ashe and Varus both available. You kind of get your reviewer's tilt on which one you'd prefer. Do very much expect Zet to be going for the standard laning AD carry rather than be going for anything more risky, because you want to unlock Mako. You don't necessarily want him to be stuck in a lane. And guess what? Thresh and Braum are both available. He gets his pick of them.
There you go. And as we were saying before, Mako, this is pretty much his meta right now. Thresh could have been the other one as well, but now pretty much denies the Thresh pick over to Samsung. It's like, well, now you're playing as my Braum. Have fun with that alongside the Varus. Didn't lock in the jungler just yet, though, but Clearlove has a lot of time to play with.
This could be Ashe Zyra from the side of Samsung and just force Braum to stay in lane. We mentioned if you go for a roaming support here, it may very much bog down into whether Mako and Clearlove or Ambition and Core JJ can make the roam plays. And because Core JJ has traditionally been a laning-focused support, I feel like the synergy between Ambition and Core JJ is tenuous at best. Tahm Kench would be the melee support if you were to select one. They will go for that to deny some of the pick power, but they don't actually focus on cementing lane, and we could see Clearlove and Mako profit from this decision.
And Core JJ's Tahm Kench was fantastic earlier. He was saving the lives of so many of his allies through the entirety of that game against J-Team, so I'm not even sad that he is picking that one up here. Though on the opposite side, Edward Gaming, will they actually go for the jungle right here, or will they just go for the mid lane Corki? Yeah, exactly.
You could just pick a Corki and even ban some of the tricky lanes into it. We're going very deep on some of these timers. Somehow,
I feel like it's probably not Urgot, and it got timed out.
I really want to explode about Urgot here, but it seems very unlikely there's an Urgot, and with the takeaway, seems like perhaps we'll get the
As much as I wanted to see it, I feel like that would have been in an MVP game and not in a Samsung
It would have
EDG.
been a support. You know it would have been a support.
Oh, yeah. I was so ready for that. Didn't come out, unfortunately. We will have a remake on Picks and Bans. It was just a timeout, and they weren't able to pick the champions. So quickly going to remake that one, get back up to speed. Back to that final one.
Guys, we need to note here, I asked Samsung what happened to the Dignitas mousepad.
Well, found it.
And Ruler has it again. So clearly, they did not run it for one set. They found it.
Is this the secret sauce? Is this a secret ingredient?
I mean, Core JJ is the NA re-import, so he just handed over the AD carry.
So yes, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. It's been their good luck. It got them to the finals of Worlds.
Yeah.
What else could it have been?
It's got to be the mousepad, man. Nothing else. Going into EDG as well. This actually, in all of the matches we had today, this does mean a lot for both regions, actually, because when you have a top team of EDG taking on a Samsung, it will mean a lot for the fans at home.
And cool storyline of Zet facing a Korean team again. Of course, Zet was Cry on the side of the Rocks Tigers throughout 2016, was their substitute mid laner, played some games, quite a lot of games in spring, a little bit less in summer, role swap to AD carry, so was imported over to China. First time he's been able to play against a Korean team since he made his re-debut as Zet.
Exactly, and he role swapped and he's ours now, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you,
You can have
Papa.
him, you know?
Hey,
look,
he's good,
we had the Rocks Tigers, and I know that everyone around the world was devastated to see them break up. They were the big hope.
Yeah.
We kept 5 out of 6. You got the substitute. We kept the other 5 players. They're all mixed up now. I'm happy with the equation as it worked out.
Well, I'm not sure if you'll be happy at the end of this game when Zet completely destroys the
It
bottom
could happen.
lane.
It could happen. But the Rocks Tigers are all in Korea, so it's okay.
All right. Well, we actually do have the bottom lane locked in for this game. We had the Braum and the Varus going into the Tam Kench and the Ashe.
Very standard, you know, very, very standard. Engage on both sides, but disengage on both sides. So they're just going to be laning and then waiting to roam. So I think it's more about the teleport plays that can be made, probably in other lanes rather than necessarily the bot. We don't see Nautilus teleporting behind a turret, taking first brick, and the game snowballing from there as much as before. So waiting for the action. I wanted to see what the blind pick would be. I think Corki would be very smart in the spot they were at in the draft, but it could be like a Talia as well. Both of them were available.
Exactly, and I actually then wonder where the bans come out from Samsung, if they just start tossing bans at Clearlove, because then it will make his pool very small. I mean,
it
like
almost feels that, like a reactive
these
ban phase, though,
away.
because the moment that you lock in a solo lane and start banning, then you start creating mismatches. So I feel like EDG is kind of the one we put the fine tooth comb on, but we'll return and track because with, as you say, the jungle pool, do you keep banning Clearlove champions? Because his one-offs this season, he's played a lot of different stuff. You look at one-offs, he's played one Lee Sin, one Zac, one Elise, one Rek'Sai, one Evelynn game. They had no priority in Elise, and they first picked Elise. I don't think banning a player who's been around for 7 years and has, I want to say a large effective pool, but certainly a large amount of champions he can win with.
Yeah.
That I don't think that works, but then where do you visit? I think it depends on what lane is picked. If it is to be a solo laner, it could just be a jungler and then...
Right now, yeah.
Exactly. We don't have that information. We're doing the ye old speculate with no information.
There you go. And if it is the last pick, because they are on red side, maybe an Evelynn does come out. And you know, a lot of international viewers be watching this are like, are you insane? Why would you pick Evelynn? It's a Clipper special, you know, it's been his champion. When it really gets down to it and he wants to win a game, sometimes he'll just say to the coach, it's going to be an Evelynn game, coach, and he locks it in.
But I feel like Nofe in this game, if Clearlove's like, all right, mate, I'm playing good old Evelynn.
Speaks like an Australian.
I think there needs to be a slap. I'm not sure if it's an open hand or a back. It's into Rek'Sai, so that seems really bad. The Tremor Sense kind of invalidates most of the invisibility there.
Yeah, it definitely seems pretty bad.
So that's the one where Nofe, I think, gets to put the carry pants on. That's still an Urgot. Let's not have that anymore.
Yeah, I'd have to assume it is something different. Got the quick refresh, and we are jumping out once more as the teams. Couple problems once again, but we'll be jumping back into the champion select shortly. We'll just need one of the players to rejoin the lobby.
Well, we got a bit of time to talk about things that aren't this draft. It's boring now. Unfortunately, we don't have any more information. You know what's a fun side fact about this tournament? We have 5 of the 6 world champion teams and their lineage playing in this tournament. Taipei Assassins, of course, are now J-Team. Samsung is the lineage of the 2 Samsung teams, and then SK Telecom are here as well. So we got a lot of world champions. We missed out on the Season 1 champions, sadly. They are playing in another region, but
they are playing.
Got a lot of world champions. I feel good about that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of history in this tournament, Papa.
Dignitas mouse pack. It's so good that it survived.
Incredible.
I mean, Core JJ is a player that I think is under-discussed on the world stage. People love the NA import. I mean, it's funny, absolutely. But a player like him, coming back to Korea, he got re-imported to play AD carry and looked very average. They couldn't choose between Core JJ and Stitch. Took a big risk in taking a challenger AD carry and ruler, planting him in, and of course did fantastically well. But Core JJ reinventing himself as a support over the course of 2016 summer, and now he's kind of codified as a top 5 support. You know, in the world, maybe we're not sure, but in Korea certainly he is a top 5 support, and it's his vision control and laning that have been his big things, although in the earlier match today, it was his Medivac players on the Tom Kench that caught the eye.
And it does make you wonder, like, what players who are underperforming right now could potentially find a new second life if given another opportunity, moving regions perhaps, moving lane perhaps, and then become very different players, because Core JJ is night and day what he once was.
Who have we got this tournament? Ambition, Score, both made their name on different roles. Core JJ has done that as well. It's kind of the fun thing of your career being longer because of the amount of years now that League of Legends has been a top flight esport, because of the amount of money that's in the scene.
Right.
No longer is it, well, I'll take a semester off of school and then go back after I have a bit of fun for a season. These guys see it as careers. So seeing the players that do have the voices, that do have the motivation to reinvent themselves, stick around, in some cases be better than they ever were. Score was a very good AD carry. Maybe top 3 in Korea when he was playing there. But by the end, it felt like he was being overtaken by Imp and Deft and the rest of the names.
Sure.
He is an incredible jungler. So having stories like that, Ambition, you know, no one could have known that he would end up being a very strong jungler, even if it was a flex role for him once upon a time. It's really cool to see. And the Core JJ one is just the most crazy, where it felt like his career was just over when Ruler came in, and yet here he is again, and now much more respected than he ever was in his previous run.
I think sometimes it can go too far, especially in the LPL. There's been a lot of reinvention. EasyHoon became a support for a week.
I feel like Insect has gone between top and jungle too many times. I want Insect to play support. He'd find a way to make Yasuo work.
Oh, put that Lee Sin in bottom lane. I see so many Lee Sin supports for no particular reason. That'd be amazing.
So we do actually have 3 bans this time from the side of Samsung. Unclear if this is going to be... It's going to be a full remake. Okay, so Rek'Sai is banned now, this time from Edward Gaming.
That's very interesting.
We didn't get that advanced information, so we'll have to see where we adapt from here. Had a very strange first round because of the first pick being... the first ban not being completed. So we'll see where things go, because there has been some information revealed. The Rek'Sai is certainly an adaptation ban. We have seen a lot of Varus from Ruler. 8-2 on the season. They're just going to trade Varus and Ashe. It's not like Samsung get a super play, and I feel like Edward Gaming getting rid of the Rek'Sai is actually a big boom to them coming into our remake draft.
Definitely feels pretty good. Yeah, almost feels like it's maybe even better for Edward Gaming against Samsung here. But yeah, that is traded ADCs. It just depends where Edward Gaming are going to bring their next pick now. Do they again go for the Braum alongside his Ashe?
I think that's super likely. I think there'd be almost no reason not to do that. And I'm personally of the opinion that Ashe is higher priority than Varus. So they go for the Tahm Kench to deny initiation. But
they just swapped up bottom lanes.
Yeah, we just ended up switching from what feels like a static pool of champions. And at least from the little information we have, it feels like Samsung lost out on that. Even if they can take Gragas, who has been the best and most performing champion for Ambition in the summer season.
Sure. Gragas logged in as well very early into Samsung's draft to use that flex there as well for Kuve Ambition.
Almost 100% will be Ambition's jungler. On patch 7.12, he doesn't have the 7-13 changes to be able to go Catalyst.
Yeah.
3 Doran's Rings, not attractive anymore. So while Maren is still trying to make top lane Gragas, and there's still a chance, it will just be the Gragas jungle almost certainly. And yep, we just had to switch up. Now it's going to be Varus Braum for the side of LCK.
That's it. Swap through has been complete. Back over to Edward Gaming.
This
and
is
the question is still the same.
And this is where we got the quandary. What it's going to be a jungler, or was it going to be something different? Clearlove.
Don't play with my heart, Clearlove. Oh, he does it! He locks it in, Evelyn into the jungle. I said it earlier, Papa Smithy, and you were like, nah, probably not going to happen. This time they take away the Rek'Sai.
I don't think you can take the high horse where the game had to be remade to disallow the Rek'Sai, and now he can play the Evelyn.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic. And sometimes Clearlove will just do that.
You realize in an out-of-context VOD, I'm just going to look like an idiot because they won't have the first draft.
I am the analyst now. But that also leads into Camille back, but more importantly, Evelyn in that jungle. And this is one of these times, it is a legacy pick for Clearlove. He turns around and he says, I'm going to play this game, and the team just accepts it. And more often than not, it works out.
And it felt like it should never have happened because the Rek'Sai was in the remade draft, wouldn't have been space for an Evelyn. Now we do see, as you say, the trademark champion of Clearlove through all his names and his history, the famous MSI Game 5 victory champion, was the Evelyn. And it's a sort of pick that will really add questions to Samsung, who like to play a controlled game, who drafted very standard. Evelyn instantly warps the game. And because we've had no Evelyn games, like most regions, in the summer season, you have to very quickly remember, hey, wait, how do we play against Evelyn? Got to start warding those camps. and really being a lot more respectful.
Yeah, Evelyn is, or warped is a great word for it because you just have to change the way that you play the game entirely. Corki and Karma banned away from Edward Gaming here, primarily against Scout in this one, as they already have the Tam Kench pick, and the final ban was Kled towards Cuvée.
So Renekton's really strong in this spot because they double banned Cuvé's big top lane bruiser carry champions in Kled and the Camille. If they didn't ban one, the other would have been selected, but Gnar is available and been that very common pick for Cuvée in recent times. He was the first person to play Gnar in 2017 in Korea. It's been exclusively played as a laning counter pick. Now, it is a ranged laning counter pick where you try to apply pressure against an Evelyn, so there will be that extra ramification. And with Syndra available very late in the draft, it is still going to be power and largely winning lanes for Samsung Galaxy.
This is why I like international events, because I haven't had the chance to cast Gnar in my own region, but seeing it come out here into that Renekton, Syndra as well for that mid lane for Crown, that's going to be Atelier matching him, so a classic Scout champion to round up the draft.
Still super risky to draft the Talia into the Syndra. It can go well, you can rush a Banshee Veil, Evelyn can gank the lane, and you miss the window of power, but if they just have standard items and Syndra get some spheres onto the field, it can be the sort of lane that Syndra will run away with, and Crown is a fantastic Syndra player, so if he needed a blind pick, it is going to be Syndra, but it's Syndra with the added variables of the Abyssal Voyage and the Evelyn invisibility, and the play patterns you want, basically proxying the lane, queuing every time Talia walks up, are so much more risky when there are unknown variables that Edward Gaming is throwing out at you.
The Evelyn will be very frustrating as well, because we see many games where Clear will pick the Evelyn and actually just farm for the first like 15-20 minutes, but you just don't know where he is because he's off the map, so he could be in your lane, you just don't know.
Now we see the coaches walk up, trying to make sense of what was a very surreal situation.
I'll
with
be honest,
remake.
if my enemy team just picked up the Evelyn, I'd be washing my hands after that one.
So interesting to see if we can see the pivots from Samsung to understand that it's an Evelyn, doesn't skirmish very well early, can be invaded. This is a very different jungle matchup. We never see jungles like Evelyn selected. It's like Ivern has never been a big pick in Korea. Samsung could just enact an early game plan and try to starve the Evelyn from actually getting to level 6 at a reliable speed.
Do know how to execute that, but that is a very real possibility. Shut down the Evelyn before she ever becomes a thing. But again, it's Clearlove's Evelyn. No one else really plays this pick at all, ever, in the world at this point in time. So it's just a question marks around how does he even start? What's his jungle path? Where does he go right now? Like, what's he gonna do? You
Don't
know?
look at me for answers. I'm not the Evelyn whisperer.
Don't look at me either.
You guys had an Evelyn game.
We did. We had
He
one
started
game,
again and played Evelyn.
which he won. He did win that game. As we
he
get
did.
onto the rift for Samsung and EDG, and it is one of our headline matchups for today, and we have an Evelyn inside it. So I think there's just reason to be excited all over the board.
Definitely surreal stuff coming out in this particular game. The Evelyn, which, you know, with the original draft wouldn't have been a thing. I do not think that he would have drafted the Evelyn into Rek'Sai, which was the original first pick. We had a remade pick and ban, new pick and ban. They do get to run the Evelyn. As a tournament without Worlds implications, it's a real pleasure to be able to see Clearlove's trademark Evelyn on the world stage. But is it a power pick, or is it just something to kind of salute the crowd and say, hey, I'm still around, I'm still Clearlove? That much, I think, is going to be tracked. And will Samsung, who do play a controlled game, have a plan for what is a Clearlove special?
And it's a bit of both, right? Because the fans will absolutely love it back at home. I mean, everyone will be very interested to see an Evelyn in the first place, but it is also to win. And Clearlove, when he plays the Evelyn, he plays at 110%, and he makes it work. So Zet and Mako actually starting on the bottom side. From what I can see, no real invade. It looks like there is a ward on the Raptors now for EDG, which is the way you have to play against Evelyn. You can't play at jungle entrances. You have to place them on the camps when Evelyn's actually revealed.
So Samsung could have gone for a very hard double leash here. What you can do on blue side especially is have Syndra help over the wall, take the little Raptors, then take red buff, and from there go for it. Because you're so accelerated, go for a big roam, but respecting Talia's ability to walk in, it's going to be a much slower clear for Ambition, so he won't be able to walk into the enemy red and try to contest the Evelyn, and this does relieve pressure out of what is going to be a fairly low HP full clear for the Evelyn, who just wants to rush for level 6 if possible.
And Clearlove's actually gone for the refillable potion as well, so we'll probably be looking for a somewhat early back after his initial clear. Get towards his first item, and we'll start on his red buff as well. Has his smite ready to go. Gone for Thunderlords for anyone at home who would be interested in perhaps trying the Evelyn themselves
Please
as well.
no. Please no.
And ruining solo queue in your respective region. Go ahead and pick the Thunderlords.
We are talking to the English fans, so it's likely to be the North American or Oceanic.
Oh, we can
region.
harm multiple regions at once with
That's
this.
true. That's true.
EU, NA.
The reverberations of the Evelyn can hit every region. What a thought.
There you go. I don't think it's necessarily like a toxic champion though. I would say like a a Shaco, pretty toxic. But
I mean,
like Evelyn
Shaco got buffed on the
requires-
latest patch.
Unfortunately, yes, but Evelyn.
Are you in the Shaco school of thought?
I'm not. No.
I mean, in terms of
prefer my
Shaco versus
cheese.
Shaco. The pronunciation is...
I actually mix it up.
So Clearlove is going for a very quick
Level
gank.
3, the flash comes in from Mako. Samsung know what's up right now, but cleared up from the shadows. Ruler dropping low. Whoa, Autodax just do it. And he actually stands and fights. The line has drawn first blood over to the
Gonna be a
Clearlove
double.
Evelyn. The double kill to EDG.
He started bot side, but made the very fast path to the top side, and then came to bot lane for a level 3 gank. Completely surprising Samsung. They could have gone for an invasion-heavy route, but because they started slow, because Gragas got no advanced information till now, sure, he might get away a Raptor camp, but it's all summoners down on Samsung, and a massive lead for EDG.
And Zed even gets to keep hold of his heel as well. So pretty much EDG got everything from that. Cliff goes back to base, has a Dark Seal now as inventory, and we get to see that one more time, skirts the vision.
And just consider where Gragas is at. Gragas had just got the Rift Scuttler, walked over to his walls. There's no pressure relieved by Ambition on where the Evelyn is at. Both his buffs are down. They don't have that information. He walks into bot lane, and we asked, would Samsung have a plan? Will they make adaptations to the extra variable that the Evelyn throws out? And the answer is a resounding no.
2-0 in the early game. And that resounding no can be heard across the Rift because Ambition now has to go back to base, picks up the Hunter's Potion as well, actually, alongside the Tracker's Knife, and is just buckling down for the long haul. Skulov goes ahead and takes the crab, level 4 right now, and is in a very good point in this game for him. Has the Chilling Smite on top of the Dark Seal, ready to just get some more kills rolling.
Yeah, Samsung's lack of adaptation, whether it came to their mid laner pushing for a vision, and speaking of mid laner,
yeah, Clear jumps out of the shadows once again, gets pushed away. Scout's still putting a lot of damage down. Follows up with the Q on top of that, and will not be a kill. There is no Ignite on top of that damage from Q, but still probably shoves Crown out of lane, if not having to burn all of those potions.
I mean, Crown has pretty big balls to not use any summoners in that scenario, walk forwards because he wanted to avoid the W coming through from the Talia. Didn't use summoners. Feels like he has enough region to stay.
Ooh, has to flash away from that one, and really he wanted the balls to be on the floor so that he actually could have gotten the stun down onto Scout.
He's trying to create pressure while Nara is invading, while they're getting advantages elsewhere. Eventually has to give up a summoner, so he's repelled quite a lot of aggression on the Syndra and kept up one escape summoner. He really wants to be able to pressure at level 6.
Ambition wandering into the mid lane. Hasn't seen Clear Love yet, but he is waiting
Risky.
the brush and jumps in. Knocked back, flick of the wrist in from Scout. Lower mana, Clear Love still chasing after. Comes in with a flash. Misses a lot of the Q damage.
Crown close to
Crown turning
6.
it around level 4. Level 5 on Crown. Turns it around. This should be the kill. And pretty much corralled back into his lane. It is 1 kill reclaimed for Samsung.
Oh, Ambition playing with fire. Didn't know he was walking into 2. Crown mops it up even before he hits level 6. Actually hits it as we go off screen. Samsung's strong lanes where they blind pick a Syndra and got to answer the Renekton are really what they have to rely on in the mid game. That's why it was so crucial that Crown did not use his summoners, just relied on the outplay. This could have gone multiple different ways. In the end, Ambition gets out, is not taken down. Hard commit by both Scout and Clearlove, but Scout's out of mana, so he just has to flee upwards. Crown, 4-0 this season, has gone from unable to play Syndra to a Syndra god in 2017, and they need both solo lanes to make up for the slack that is going to be created with Ruler and Core JJ largely having to play wave clear and disengage with the lack of summoners.
Crown's gone for the Dark Seal on top of that as well, so he's actually looking to snowball himself in the mid lane. And you said it yourself, Papa, that this lane could be run away with from Crown on the Syndra against the Talia, so it's something that EDG will have to be thinking about in the back of their minds.
It's awesome to see Crown walk up like he did, use no summoners on a game. I would say 99.9% of professional players would have flashed at that point, but didn't use a summoner, then drew out the flash, then had Ghost available to pick up the kill. For a player who's been down on form as recently as Game 1, but crucially, most of the summer season, it's great to see that that old adage of form is temporary and class is permanent was certainly clear on the Rift.
For now. In the bottom lane, still advantage to the EDG bottom lane. If ever slight, because 1 kill did go to Maker, so it has sped up his item build. He's got the early Sightstone on top of that, and refillables across the board in from EDG. I want to see what the next move is now from Clear, though, because it has hit that level 6, where he visits next. But it is always that constant kind of global pressure just from not showing himself.
They haven't been able to clear control wards, so he wants to gank bottom lane. Could still lane gank bottom lane, but would prefer to come in from a slight flank and profit off the level 6 hit. We know that now it's about 3 minions away from level 6, so won't be in position for that. Samsung actually having the wave this pushed in is perfect. It's not being auto-pushed by the turret, and they're safe from a wombo engage from the Agony's Embrace and also the Ash Arrow, so they're comfortable. Control wards will start to be cleared, but at least for now, the pressure is relieved from bot lane. That does mean that the rest of the lanes have to play back.
For now, we're going to go through the motions. Ambition's going to send over this blue buff to Crown. Looks like a red buff for Clear as well before he goes for his next ganking opportunity. Top lane might be a potential for him. Mouse is constantly being shoved in by the Gnar pick, which is now the current counter in Korea, and has been putting it down to Mouse. Of course, he wouldn't have a lot of practice, especially on the professional stage, playing into a Gnar, maybe in solo queue, but it's definitely new for him.
I mean, basically, the theory behind the Gnar pick is that your ranged auto attack, that part is clear, always going to be happy against a melee. With Phage Rush especially, you're always out of range, and Mini Gnar is where you do most of your damage because you're just getting so many different hyper procs, especially when you get closer to level 12 or so, get more points in W. You kind of run away with the lane, you match itemization, and you're able to be cannon in the lane and then a tank initiator in the team fight. So Gnar, because he's so clean into what we thought before was the auto win while Renekton, while everything else loses, Gnar comes back crucially to shut down the Renekton. And obviously you get the early information if you see a Gnar ban that Renekton's going to probably be their first pick.
Many on the way pings into the mid lane. Scout's speeding after Crown. He's being pushed towards his own tower.
Smart move.
Will turn to the left and just pop the early ghost, runs away with it, and Ash coming in from the mid lane as well, misses the arrow, and Crown literally just walks away from the gank. I
mean, the dance moves here from Crown have been super on point. He sees the Taliyah come in, goes vertically, because he's respecting multiple different variables. And sure, Evelyn could have just been there to kill him from the front if he had just been rushing down mid, but wasn't there. He gets away, another single summoner used, and he will have the flash down. So they've invested so much to paper over what is a tough laning matchup for Taliyah, and it's been completely ineffective because Crown is outplaying gank after gank.
That was really heads up from Crown. Nice to see again. Cliff goes back to the jungle, but has been warded from this one. Again, wards on the camp's best way to spot the Evelyn. And has seen him on the top side. So for now, mid lane and bot lane can play with a bit of ease and know that probably they can go for this dragon as well since Evelyn's top side and going back to base. So Samsung have a big chunk of time here to take this initial dragon.
Bit surprised to see Zet and Mako losing in CS when they had an advantage in summon. It's worth noting that they had both used their flashes, so it's not like they had an escape summoner available. It will just be the Ocean Drake rushed down, and Cody is behind Mako.
Well, caught a bit of catfish, but he just flashed away. Turned around, gives him a lick.
Notice that Korean teams, compare that to what OMG would have done that scenario. They had double ward down. They know that they can't see Evelyn. They show respect, and they're happy to back away after seeing just a flash go down. It's a regional battle, but that is quintessential control play from a Korean team. They'll take the summoner, and they'll back away.
Goes back to the bottom lane. Hasn't used Agony's Embrace just yet. This would be his first if he goes for this gank.
So Samsung have a control ward down and the ability to try to freeze this wave again. They might just engage though. They know the flash is down.
Yeah, his flash is gone. Goes into the great health. Roller turning around, has lots of damage, but no one can reach him just yet. Rooted on the clear right here. Teleport comes in for the top lane. Mech's already dead. Big no out from Kuve.
Oh, baby!
Crunch as well. And Samsung looking to wipe out this entire fight. Molotov doesn't connect, but Mouse, he's caught in the trap right now, and no one can even save him. Out from EDG, almost a clean wipe, 3-0 at the cost of only Core JJ.
Yeah, Kuve was the one to bring it back, but had the Mega Gnar at the perfect time. Instant Mega Gnar destroyed EDG. Could have been more of a cleanup, but they'll take the victories where they can. Everyone from EDG limps away. Big advantage to Samsung. They might take a turret as well.
Lives on the way to the bottom lane. I don't know what he really has to offer to this one.
Well, that is 3 there. So they're looking to turn here if there's any sort of disagreements or overextension for a turret. Again, not in the LCK playbook.
Sure.
They'll back away. They would have loved to have first bricks so early in the game, but they took the first Drake. They won the first fight. Watch the rage bar here. This is the big story, is the teleport's actually second from the Gnar, but Gnar is actually building up rage bar, then teleports in Mega Gnar at the perfect time. This should have been communicated faster because he owns 3 members of EDG, basically does 70% of 3 health bars on his own. EDG have to scatter away. Samsung get all the advantages. You mentioned the Gnar pick hasn't been there for a while. They're going to learn one thing from this tournament, bring back Gnar.
Yeah, I think so. Gnar Ultimate was absolutely disgusting. 4-3 now. Samsung take the lead quite firmly, plus that initial dragon, which will be the Ocean Dragon. Next dragon is also going to be another Ocean. And for now, EDG are definitely on the back foot. This Evelyn pick started off extremely strong, got the double kill in the bottom lane, but outside of that, has not been able to make these plays happen. Some of that has been courtesy of Crown, and this time it was courtesy of Cuvée.
Yeah, Crown's been a star. Again, it's so difficult to translate exactly how much he's gained for his team, not using summoners until he absolutely has to, and not dying despite almost all the attention from the side of EDG being placed around the mid lane. He's kind of been the Fort Knox as everything fell around us. Well, there's a lot of people around.
Well, he's definitely caught in mini form and will not be able to get to mega form
No
quite
flash.
a while. He's being chased down by
Goodbye.
Cleaver Mountain. Will eventually go down, and Cleaver actually picks it up there with the final hate spike. He moves on to the blue, very conveniently happens to be here. So, good pick over to EDG.
And it was at a time where Samsung were largely playing around bot lane, so just like we criticized Crown for taking a blue buff and dying, didn't really feel like it was completely necessary for Cuvée to go for a grand stroll through the river. I understand he was looking for some idyllic, relaxing times after battling, but
Yeah, was not the time, not the
No.
place. Though bottom tower does go down, that's the first tower of the game over to Samsung, so it's not like it was a total loss. The net win is technically over to Samsung.
the big thing for Samsung is they want to keep Syndra in lane against Taliyah for as long as possible. This is the matchup they've picked for. Scout has had to go super defensive. You can't go Merlinomicon into Syndra. You will die. Crown trademark build is always a very early Liandry's. He loves double magic penetration, and you have to go basically into Banshee Veil, otherwise you just die straight up to double magic penetration with the Merlinomicon a bit more on hold from the side of Crown. So piling in early pressure, keeping Taliyah in lane. You don't want Taliyah rotating around the map, making Weaver's Wall plays that you can certainly be susceptible to as a Syndra with no flash. So keeping her in lane has been ideal. Good stuff so far from Crown.
That's also item spikes across the board, also in the form of rulers. Blade of the Ruin King has been picked up now, has a sizable gold lead over Zet. You can see the rest of Samsung just moving through this jungle now. Lots of deep vision actually coming out from Samsung, top side. And also bottom side, pretty much lit up like a Christmas tree. So EDG send their bottom lane to top lane. Ruler and Cordio J will be meeting them there for the 2v2. Classic Australian lanes.
Oceanic meta, one of my favorites. And also will cement Gnar in lane against Renekton, who kind of disrespectful to be working towards Merc Treads when you're against a Gnar. He's not going to halt his build. We saw in our game one, we kind of criticized the Renekton from Morning for going very respectful against Rumble, whereas going this disrespectful against a Gnar is very painful.
Yep, hurts a lot, as you can see. Mouse, Hyper, once again, just
It's
took him down.
close to Mega Gnar, but
So
it could be
everyone is
three.
on their way to the bottom lane. Clearlove and Scout, the three-man
for the Mega Gnar.
setup, and he's not
Doesn't
even
get
going to
it.
get Mega Gnar. Gets blasted on the spot from Scout and Clearlove. Bottom tower should be falling, but probably trading the top side by Samsung.
And crucially, Syndra's getting solo experience and some damage on mid lane turret as well. Hard right now to snap judge whether the extra kill is worth it. Depends on the mid lane turret HP. They're not going to quite get it. The standing gold is there in mid. EDG, they'll like what they got, but Samsung aren't going to be too unhappy either.
They'll take away the Raptors as well. An added prize for this one.
Notice the other extra prize is vision in the red side jungle as well. That's why Varus could get some free autos and extra minion waves that weren't accessible as easily to the side of EDG. And sure, Mouse can push up a minion wave, but they don't get any vision around the Ocean Dragon as it spawns. So if they were able to get the vision as well, easy to be like, yep, EDG, excellent job. But because they don't get vision they can return to and an objective is about to spawn, much harder to gauge.
Next dragon has spawned. Again, another Ocean. Clearlove is around the area this time, though is heading back to base. I guess in the overall scheme of things, EDG...
Zet would
big
really like
priority on
items.
this one.
Finally got an item.
Yeah, lots of items actually picked up. Jungle, mid lane, and bottom lane. Banshee's Veil completed from Scout.
He's down a Zeal, which is pretty considerable. So with a summoner advantage being down a Zeal after a double kill early, where double kills can end laning phases. If there's any way to get a double kill without using your flashes, as an AD carry especially, game can be over from that sort of advantage. We swapped lanes after the remake, but Samsung, with their stronger laning duo, which I think Ruler and Cordio J have cemented here, are in a good spot. They're a Zeal up over their opponents. Watching Scout, notice he doesn't have Weaver's Wall.
So there is still a teleport coming down from Mouse. They're locking up Mako right now, and the Fissure follows as well. Zet Gonna be gobbled up and hopefully taken to safety. Mouse is right in the thick of it. Goes in for the engage, but gets faulted by Crown. He should be falling here, but a battle does ensue. Clear around the side, but Zet blasted away. And Scout also down. 2 casualties, made that 3. EDG are just bleeding out right now. 3 kills and the Dragon to Samsung.
Yeah, pretty woeful team fighting there from EDG. Renekton goes in first, gives up his whole health bar for free. It was mini Gnar at that point. He runs around, gets his whole Gnar bar up, and just kills Scout because they're playing in 3 different fronts. Perfect fight from Samsung. They waited till the Renekton came to them, blasted him down. He didn't have really any magic resist to talk from. They got that Ocean Drake, and now they get mid lane turret as well.
Mid lane demolished. Bot lane's being pushed in as well from Kuve, and it just feels like Samsung getting absolutely everything in this game. Let's take a look at that one more time.
I mean, consider the start of this fight. So the Glacial Fissure comes down, fight could have been ended. Now Mouse is exposed in the middle. They turn onto him, and Crown's like, well, I got a lot of flat magic fan. Goodbye, Mr. Crocodile. But Kuve just runs after Scout. Mako doesn't have the Devour ready for him. He's also over a wall. So the full Gnar bar comes out. That should have been a losing scenario because Gnar was pretty irrelevant as the fight started. But by the end, they just ripped apart EDG. And they put this big investment in the Eve. But it's the second round that's decided this game because they got to counterpick Renekton and get a pressure lane. And you may have seen Syndras in China, but not many Syndras as good as Crown.
Sure, and in this game now, it seemed very doable before that Dragon, but 3,000 gold advantage now to Samsung before the 20-minute mark is definitely hurts you a lot as a team here from EDG. Actually moving lane assignments now a little bit from Crown. Just checking these bushes.
The stats between regions are one of the things I really get excited about coming to Stones. I know it might not be interesting to other people, but the difference with Syndra pick and ban especially, Syndra's still contested 90% of the time, picked or banned in Korea, fallen down to 43% in China. So more than double the contestation rate. The win rate, 61%, has been going down because Ian's been getting it and losing because he's on MVP, sad boys. But regardless, still a high win rate for the Syndra, whereas very often LPL teams, they'll draft Kassadin into it, they'll just beat it. The win rate is very low also, 43% win rate in China, whereas here we see the return to the Syndra, and if you're this good, you're good as, well, maybe this is Kuve's time to die again.
No, he's running away. Maybe he gets Mega Gnar, maybe he doesn't, but he's definitely dead regardless. Mouse is following after, cuts the vision, but still goes down. Once again, Kuve getting caught off in the side lane.
But they do have pressure in 2 lanes at the same time, largely around top. Ambition can just walk around. Varus is able to walk through the enemy jungle, notice, and get to top lane safely because they don't respect the pressure around the inner turret. So another pick that does go the way of EDG, but it will be at best a trade of turrets in the bot side.
Well, Kuve's pretty much laughing to his grave here, Papa, because top lane goes down. Mouse is sieging in the bottom side, but he is a Renekton compared to 4 people, so it's going to take him quite a bit longer.
Here's what I'll say. I mean, a lot of people will be like, well, kill and turret. Let's say he gets the turret. Let's call it kill and turret, which may not happen, but kill and turret for just a turret, well, it's very easy. The advantage to Samsung, I'll hold the point for a moment.
TP does come in from Kuve, revenge of the Gnar. All right, this is going to take a while, you have to feel, but
I mean, you can see those hyperprocs. Those hyperprocs hurt
a lot of damage. Ambition's going to confirm this one. Mouse will eventually go down, misses that one, flash cut out of the way. Mouse will actually get out of this one. Slice and Dice comes up in 2 seconds.
Nice
no, just kidding. Cask against the wall. Oh, no, just slices it away. Ambition actually turned around and
the turret blocks it.
He's still coming after him. Lands that boulder, and finally he goes down. Do a barrel roll, Mouse. Eventually falls. Mako came in there just in case. Bit of moral support.
So the chase there, not so interesting. We watched it all, the cat and mouse game. But let's talk about previously what happened. Remember that when they traded a turret for a turret and a kill, which was the best case scenario, the turret didn't go down, but this is a what-if scenario. They also got vision around the top side as Baron was the main objective for just a kill to Kuve with teleport. And the reason why that's significant is that EG once again gets a kill, but no more. And vision around Baron at 21 minutes is way more important than killing someone with a teleport that can be a team fighter. So that what I'm saying here is that EG need to focus on that next point, getting the vision after a pick or prioritizing the vision over just immediate gold and the feel good of getting a kill. Because in the end, it ended up just being a kill trade, and EG and Samsung win in every way. But I feel like Samsung, even without the kill, were the winners because of the vision they got in the red side jungle.
Now that arrow you saw mid lane, we like to call Mystic Arrow in the LPL because Mystic had a game where he literally missed 7 arrows in a row. And no one mobilizes, everyone just watches the arrow to see if it will connect. And if it does, great, no one does anything. But if it doesn't, then whatever. It's part of the scenery.
But like, what happens to those arrows when they sail off
I
the rift?
have to assume it hits someone in Runeterra, man.
That's a feel-bad moment.
Some Yordo out there going to have a very bad day. Going to be stunned for 3.5 seconds.
I mean, they have pretty small hitboxes, so they should be able to sidestep.
Maybe. It's going to hit someone, though.
That's true.
It's like space. Keeps on going.
Why do we never hear the stories of the innocent victims? The ones hit by the stray ash
Because they're still stunned.
That's fair. No CC duration off the rift.
Yeah. Cool JJ caught in the jungle. He's going to jump away to Crown. They do turn this round back onto Mako. Chain of Corruption. He jumps out of the way.
Party
There
cast.
you go. Get out of here.
Well, this is the turnaround, essentially. They don't catch anyone, though. That's a teleport you cancel.
Yep. Backing away from this.
Crown was like, another kill?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Sure. Make it. No, don't do it. All right.
They don't have vision on Clear Love, so they're trying to be respectful here, Samsung. They still have a lot of vision in the top quadrant. They took the top turret already. The turn onto Baron is always a scenario. They also have a control ward at the entrance. Their Baron speed is slow. EDG should suss this out.
They should be able to contest one. It's down to half. Make over the wall. He's chunked, however. Clear Love just get caught out by that Winter's
now.
bite.
He was caught there when he took the first passive shot, and Samsung will pull away. Two mountains, and maybe that's a different proposition, but Samsung know that the contest would have come through and have to respect a Evelynn with flash up.
Sure, but it is low risk at the end of the day. They will always be able to disengage from that one. So Samsung, either they get the Baron or they don't. They just waste maybe a couple seconds. Cordier actually flashed for that one, locked down Mako, but Crown doesn't want to use the ult bit right there.
I guess Clear Love assassinated Ruler at some point.
There you go. Clear Love still needs to get away from this one.
They're still chasing it. This is risky from Samsung.
He's got a lot of shielding in from the Agony's Embrace. Takes out the second one onto Crown. Mouse over the wall, locking down Core JJ for a third. Double kill for Scout. In comes Cuvée and Ambition. And now you've got to know that Baron's going to be started.
They're going to start it up. Cuvée doesn't have a rage bar. This is their ultimate for displacement.
Big barrel out from Ambition, but they're going to turn this one around.
The health bars are not big on most of the front line, only Mouse, so they will back away. They buy some time. Can't see a pick answering here from Samsung, so they do abort the Baron.
Still a lot of pressure coming in from Cuvée at this point in time. He's almost at that Mega Nine. He sees a lot of low health targets out from Cuvée. The 2 versus 5 slams Mako against the wall, but he saves Mouse's life, and everyone turns back towards him. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and it will be the 1-on-1 in the end. But still, Samsung stopped the Baron.
I think Samsung made a couple of bad decisions there. They didn't need to keep going forward when Ruler died. Talia came in and cleaned up, and then Gnar uses his flash to only get a trade of kills around Baron, which is the big objective. A Gnar with Flash and Mega Gnar, we've seen over many metas can be the answer. So picking up the trade when they'd already aborted Baron is another one of those Samsung question marks, though we've seen a couple of times over the course of just 2 games. Samsung
will still get the consolation prize of the Dragon from that one, but still getting caught out of that, it means that EDG still have Fangs. They still sharp in this game. It's clear they're actually just spotting Ambition and Core JJ. Pops out of the shadows once again. In comes Mako and Scout trying to cut him off. Arrow comes in, connects onto the Gragas. Core JJ flicks back to his team. Clear Love wants blood though, wants some of this Gragas, but he does get knocked into the team. But Mako's there to save him. Walled off, and he's on the wrong side. Ruler jumps over. Scout instant cleanse out of that one as he jumps away. Zet almost 100 zeros and right click to death. But that will just be the 1 kill to EDG.
Yeah, EDG do pick up the only kill and can turn on the Drake. So once again, a scenario where they are outthinking and outmaneuvering in little skirmishes the side of Samsung. Samsung have played so smartly ever since they got the big crunch coming through from the Mega Gnar and bot lane. But now they've let themselves down a couple of times. Still, they have very good solo lane advantage. Still, Gnar can run around with double laning items onto the Renekton. They keep walking up to objectives, and not having 5 in the rear means they haven't necessarily had the right formation to take some of the fights they're taking. Samsung need to reset, take that deep breath, return to playing around the vision we know they can recreate. Because here, Abyssal Voyage and also the Evelynn, so invisibility and a global movement ability means someone had to die, and it ended up being Core JJ.
It was that maneuver that did work out in the end. Clear Love again getting saved by that Tam Kench. And Ruler having to burn the flash as well, being locked on the wrong side from Scout. So well played in EDG from the end. The fact that Zet almost got 100-0 from the
there wasn't even a lot of spheres out there.
Yeah, bit scary. So he'll probably have to be thinking about that one. Mako may have to save his Devour actually just to simply save Zet in these fights.
And the build here from Crown is focused on just deleting any target, including Renekton. And probably, honestly, if you ask Crown who is realistic deletion target, it's probably Mako. Just kill the damn Tahm Kench. He's going to be stacking health, so going Liandry's and also the Void Staff. Power down the Tahm Kench. Knight's Vow gone. The disengage of the Devourer gone. Gnar can definitely clean up everyone else. but the Tahm Kench is one of the big variables to consider. Speaking of variables.
Whoa, Agony's embrace onto Ruler and CoreJJ. It looks like Ruler somehow surviving. Ruler's getting chased down along with CoreJJ. Nice sidestep from Scout, and Scout will get the kill in the end. It was actually from Zet in that one. Ambition coming in from behind, but with the Weaver's Wall coming down, where are you going, Scout? Following after Ruler, but he's now locked underneath this tower. But Tahm Kench, hell of a champion, gonna get you out of there.
Mega doing his best CoreJJ impression as Samsung are trying to play multiple lanes. Notice they did take a turret in the bottom lane as Crown is picking up a minion wave in top. He doesn't have the most defensive vision. It's actually very risky to be taking free auto attacks with an Evelynn on the map. And, well...
Knock, knock. Who's at the door? Ready to go.
Everyone.
Mako and Clearlove. The whole party's arrived. And Crown actually just goes back through the back exit and say, see you later.
Well, that was a lot of respect shown by Clearlove. He was like, wait, I don't know if I can kill this guy. He's got ultimate up. So with Ghost Flash and ult up, he'll back away. Scout's still, for some reason, on an escape mission.
Oh, he definitely is. Well, I guess CoreJJ gets this one.
Oh, he didn't get any damage on him. He needs an auto. He got an auto. He got it.
All right, there we go. Shut down in the air, but still, what does that mean? 50 seconds on the death timer, 28 minutes in, Baron's on the board, Papa.
And when you go to the Liandry's Rush, you do actually do respectable damage as a Syndra to Baron, usually a very low Baron damage dealer. So Clearlove walking up, he has flash up in a couple of seconds, not right now. They're just giving it up.
Actually, yeah. We just left. That was very anticlimactic.
Well, Cuvée walked up in Mega Gnar, and Clearlove didn't have flash, so there really was no way to get there. We're going to see a very extended replay. Opened up onto Ruler, but CoreJJ did the team thing. He took the Ash Arrow, he walked up. It took forever to kill him. Wasn't actually a lot of targets to hit with the Glacial Fissure because there was a Banshee Veil already. So Scout dies, but because they had a huge minion wave in top, and also the Gnar pushing in the face of Renekton. It was just a delay tactic by Ambition, walking around, rolling the barrel a couple of times, delaying time, and the delay worked super well because there ain't much standing gold left on the map. All the easy objectives are down. It's Baron with some advanced vision, and even a half-health inhibitor turret because the rest of the standing gold has been taken by Samsung Galaxy.
Those are all great points there, Papa, but I still want to know how Scout just arrived in the top lane randomly by himself and got killed by CoreJJ. Like, that was ultimately what led to that Baron and led to Samsung being in this position.
It was a bit out of context. He got low, he chased in, and it's got corralled, I think multiple members in different roles. I don't know if Crown should have been able to free walk back from top because it meant the exit paths was 0 for the Taliyah. There wasn't really no way to get out, but you're right. In the end, such a delayed pick with a massive death timer, and it was the easiest Baron in the world, and Clearlove didn't even have a flash over the wall to be able to contest it.
It's definitely one of those where you scratch your head a little, but still EDG are holding this inhibitor tower line at this point in time. Half an hour now into this game, Papa.
You'll be happy to know that Cuvée is not a big fan of building anything other than damage on his Gnar.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
His recent Gnar victory in the 57-minute game against Longzhu included a rapid-fire cannon to get more auto attacks on an exposed Nexus.
Like it.
So
has he tried the Hurricane yet?
Not yet, but
insane rage building power.
He's got the completed Mercurial Scimitar for even more. What's Renekton going to do in my face?
All right, riding the wave on that one. Scout will jump away. Mako and Zet locked in
kill
place.
him.
Needs to kill this Tahm Kench. Philip coming in from the backside, looking for a big Agony's Embrace. Mouse on the front lines as well, looking to do all he can. And Crown instantly deleted out there. Clearlove will take one with him. Everybody knows back. And Cuvée with a second massive ultimate this game. Zet tries to kite away, but he's lost over his team. Boulder to the back of the head. He goes down. And Mouse nowhere to run, nothing to do. And Scout will be the 5th and final casualty of this fight. EDG completely wiped by Samsung.
That's going to be the game. It's going to be the game. They're going to ride in this minion wave in top as they take the inhibitor. Cuvée twice blows open the game on the Gnar that he brought back into the meta, in Korea at least. Trying to take note, the Gnar is strong. It's an answer to the Renekton. And Samsung, it wasn't always clean, but when they needed to make the big plays, they did. And catching the Taliyah, that passage actually ended the game.
It lived up to expectations there, Papanas. The Nexus falls. Samsung, voice crack went through puberty. Take the Nexus and take the game.
Really interesting game here, really fun one to watch. I feel like the second round of picks was something that I don't think EDG were prepared for. I shouldn't be surprised to see the Syndra. They thought, okay, we've got Evelynn, we've got Taliyah, just ganked the lane a lot. Crown's outplays. So heartening to see a player down on form, returned to the status that saw him as the second best mid laner in the world to Faker in many people's eyes earlier. Him not dying for so long, not using summoners until he had to, allowed Gnar to just free auto attack the Renekton and have a real laning phase. You know what Gnar's problem is? When his mid laner starts dying, when his bottom laner starts dying, and he overextends for harass and just gets ganked by 5 people. That couldn't happen with any reliability this game because their laning phases were strong enough to carry them through the double kill in bot lane early.
And Kuve, for me, definitely was at least my MVP, landing so many good Gnar ultimates that game. I'm just happy to cast a Gnar again, to be honest. And I got everything in that one. Khalidov did have his Evelyn, though he didn't pick up the win in the end, so a little unfortunate, but he did try his hardest, getting a double kill at the start. Welcome back, Frosk and Raz. What did you see from backstage?
I saw Gnar messing people up. That's exactly what I saw. I mean, every time it's like, I think EDG's winning this fight. I was like, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah. Kuve, I'm just going to sing his praises. He played phenomenally in that game. He played really well in the lane phase. His map awareness, the teleport use, the ultimate use. I mean, that was pretty much how Samsung got all of their leads early game because Clear Love set EDG on the right foot. It just wasn't enough for that superior 5v5. In that same breath, though, because I feel like a lot of people will look at that game and be like, she lied to us. She said Mouse was good. Mouse looked terrible.
What happened, Frost?
No, Scout. That guy was actively, I'm so
I thought we got that sentence real hard.
I thought we got rid of the salt, Frost, but we just brought it right back.
Oh, this has been brewing for a hour, right?
Okay, that's true, that's true.
Yeah, so we have 2 replays, and the first one that I'm going to show you is going to be a dragon fight. Yeah, here we go.
All right,
Take us through it,
Frost.
Froskuren.
Let's go.
Okay, this is the dragon fight. What you're going to see, oh, actually, no, this is the first Gnar
Yes.
fight.
Yeah.
So this is the teleport where Gnar, like you said, is going to come late. He stacks up his Mega Gnar, and it's like, oh, it looks so good for EDG. They just burned all their big cooldowns of the Tom Kinch. Oh, yeah, JK, that ultimate just, that feels good.
Boom.
People deleted.
What
Just
people
like
don't
that.
know is that casters do have bias about champions in the meta. When Orianna's in the meta, you can talk about the ball, and like, did he miss the ult? Did he hit the ult? Gnar is one of the hardest champions to play around. You have the rage bar, you have the teleport needs to be on point, but when you get it, when the Gnar ultimate hits, it's exciting stuff, and Kuve, with 2 Gnar ultimates, won the game.
And Kuve has just been playing so well, because when it comes to Gnar, there are a few players out there who can really
China
make it
has
work.
one of the famous ones, Koro on the bench of Royal, of course.
Exactly. And Marn, even though when he gets his hand on the Gnar, you see beautiful things happen. And that was a special case where you saw, of course, the support player Mako got caught out, but he's on Tom Kench. He blows away. You're like, all right, suddenly this looks like the fight has been reset. Renekton's about to dive in. And the moment he dives in, where'd my backline? I was like, where to go?
Hold up.
I was like, wait a second. And that happened at the end of the game, too. But I don't want to keep skipping it up because, once again, we go into another play. EDG stabilizes the game.
Hey, who did the most damage as well?
Yeah, it looks like it's the damage Gnar build coming through.
He loves, as I said, Rapid Fire Cannon came out in the 57-minute game. He will just pile on damage and rely on the Gnar ultimate. And hey, when you teleport in with the right rage bar, you don't even need any sort of tankiness because everyone's dead.
That's true.
But I do want to get to this dragon fight, though, like quickly get in this other replay, because, okay, you look at this, you're like, Mouse, what are you doing in the middle of the team? Check out where Scout is. He has the Taliyah
He's
wall.
looking for the pick.
I understand that he's looking for the pick, but use the pick. He's actually going to flash away.
Taliyah wall's on cooldown.
He's going to get, okay, there you go. He's going to get zoned out by Kuve, and Mouse at this point, he's like, team, hello, are we going in? And he's like, I can't do anything. Yes, he's going to burn his entire health bar, but he does take the ultimate off of Syndra. You're always going to rather that go on the Renekton, but Scout is not with his team. He's not behind them. They don't set their line of scrimmage. They don't follow it up, and Mouse, he took a gamble, a trust fall to EDG. He's like, guys, we're going in. I'm doing what you say, and they just watched him blow up.
It was one of those moments where I think that the play was there. You can see that Scout was ready to put it out because he was very close to his Taliyah
If he was
ulti.
just on the other side.
I mean, I think his position was fine. I think he just misstepped, and the moment he had to blow flash, Gnar was already up in his face, and so that was a position where it could have worked out. He played it a little bit too aggressively when the TP was coming down, and I see your eyes going off into the distance. I'm telling you right now, that was the case.
These flashes of him like diving to inhib towers, and Mako's like, no. And then the next thing you know, he's dead, and he gives away a Baron, and Mako's like, I don't know. I didn't put him there.
That's just another example where I think Kuve is playing so far ahead of the competition.
Yes.
Where in this case he TP's down and Scout just misreads it. His Banshee's Veil was blown out just by the Gnar Q, and so suddenly Syndra was going to be able to get the stun off very easily.
And a bit of inside baseball. Kuve was the second name we considered for the player to watch from the side of Korea because the storyline for him is an interesting one. He came into Worlds, role player, did fine. He came into spring season, and in a team that finished second, he picked up 0 MVPs. No MVPs at all. Crown and Haru were monopolizing that, and he just kind of played Maokai and did decently at it. That was all he did. And then we got to the semifinals. Samsung hyped against KT Rolster. Smeb was like, let's have some carry matchups. QV opted into them and was exposed. He was dominated in Jace versus Kennen matchups.
I don't want to see
We get to see the replay very shortly.
Do
here.
I get to see this again? I don't want to.
He gets it flash and then 3-man. He actually stuns Mouse against the damn outer turret.
The reach around to get
That
it.
was certainly a reach around, but no MVPs, exposed. And I was like, okay, QV, like, where are you at in summer? Adding the Kled very fast, bringing back the Gnar, adding to his champion pool, and with the meta shifting slightly in the top lane, not massively, but slightly. He has gone from, I would say in spring season, he was probably the 8th best top laner, maybe. He's gone up there to top 3, top 4, which is a massive jump, and it lets you know that with Gnar in the meta, with Renekton in the meta, who she can play as well. He even played a Rumble game recently.
He did.
QV needs to be standing up to be counted when some of his other teammates are struggling, and he's doing a wonderful job.
It's just exciting to see what else he brings from here on out, because that performance is honestly nutty. And if he doesn't get the MVP, I'll just be shocked.
And it was a misread from EDG, because remember the bans in the second round were the Camille and the Kled, both champions that he's played recently.
But this is what I said. EDG's drafting has always been a problem.
Yeah, I think that was a moment where, honestly, I felt like I was fine with it, just didn't go well.
And QV, predictably, you have to give him the MVP. The scoreline doesn't look amazing, but you just need the replay. This is a highlight package, not a KDA MVP for the side of QV.
Just replay this game over and over for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. I have a VOD link, so we'll work it out.
Oh, thank you.
If
I just cover up the nameplates, I'm like, oh, this is so good.
This could have been Koro in 2015.
Just swap with the nameplates.
Please don't. My heart can't take
But you've
it.
lost your EDG pin. It's on the floor now.
What EDG
You ever going to
pin?
bring it back?
Why is it face down for us, Kieran?
Oh, no. Sad.
Yeah, we'll put it back on when they finish.
Before or after the game when you see the results?
I'll do it after the draft
Oh,
phase. I'll
after
be
the
like,
draft.
after the draft phase when you're
that's
off
some
camera.
non-committal. That's
Off
very
camera.
Raz of you.
Off camera also.
Yeah.
oh.
Maybe we can pip that up.
Oh,
And
boy.
Get it in there.
I mean, that said, I will say that it's just frankly nice to have good League of Legends played. It started out great. We got to see Clearlove's Evelyn. Clearlove was definitely trying to hard carry that game, despite what all the team was doing around him.
For now, we are going to send it over to an interview with our fantastic translator, Shadow.
So we're now interviewing Crown. And he's saying hi to everyone.
네. 안녕하세요. 삼성 갤럭시 팀의 미드라이너 크라운 이민호입니다. 大家好，我是삼성 갤럭시.
So hello everyone, my name is Crown, mid laner Crown from Samsung Galaxy. So there was screams from the audience, and we can tell he is a bit nervous. So we did talk to Ambition before.
아까 앰비션 선수 인터뷰할 때 별로 긴장
So
안
what do
된다고
you think
하셨는데
right now, Crown?
어떠신 것 같아요? 저도 딱히 긴장은 지금 안 되는 것 같아요. 네. 他也其实觉得没有多紧张。
He thinks that he's not that nervous. So we're asking him if he has researched about LPL strategies.
연구까지는 아니고 종종 경기 영상 이제 하이라이트 올라오는 거는 종종 보는 것 같아요. 네.
So they didn't really research, but he does pay attention and just a little bit of knowledge. So the bot lane fight, he was asking, like, did they break the momentum?
타격을 줬나요? 바텀 라인 자체는 약간의 타격이 있었을 텐데 그거는 이제 그렇게 큰 타격까지는 이어지지 않아서 별로 뭐 괜찮다 했던 것 같아요.
So bot lane did have a bit of effect. However, everyone thought that it was okay. So there was people were pretty afraid of letting Crown pick at Syndra pick.
오늘 신드라를 픽하게 됐는데 어떻게 자신감이 생겼나요? 어땠어요? 글쎄요, 자신감은 항상 가지려고 계속 하는데 방금 판 같은 경우는 조금 자신감 있게 플레이했던 것 같아요. 네. 他说平常不管是选到什么角色都会有自信，但是刚那
So Crown answered that he doesn't care which champion he gets, he has the confidence. So I'm asking him what was the winning point of that match.
언제인 것 같아요? 상대편 이제 바텀 그리고 정글, 미드 이렇게 모든 궁극기를 다 사용하면서 미드를 한번 저를 이제 찌르러 왔는데 그때 제가 이제 역주행하면서 한번 피한 게 좀 컸던 것 같아요. 네.
就是对面所有角色都开炸在追他，但是他没有死掉，我觉得。
So everyone was chasing Crown in the match, he believes, and they didn't really succeed.
那这边还是恭喜我们神童 Galaxy 获得这一场比
So
赛
now
胜
let's
利。那我们休息一下
congratulate Samsung Galaxy for winning.
Thank you so much for the translations there, Shadow. And yeah, it was just great to hear there from Crown in the end.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty hilarious where they're like, what's the winning moment? And Crown's like, points when they're chasing me instead of QV, you know, being the guy that's going off.
But I think he's right, because consider they blind picked Syndra, they took the Tilia, it's the 1v1 matchup. It was all about pressure, and he can't do that pressure if he doesn't sidestep the ganks. So while he's heaping praise into himself, that's a very much a Crown thing to do.
Yeah.
He was a linchpin of this game.
And that's going to round out that game. So thank you very much for joining me. We're going to turn this desk up to max as Atlas takes over the desk alongside Rusty. We'll see you then.